analytics.
Okay, wonderful. That's great. I saw Tyler a moment ago. I think he's trying to reconnect. Tyler, are you on? Yeah, I think I lost his connection there. That's great. Well, we're gonna start in 2 minutes. It's good to see you again, honestly. It's just
same here.
10 week really flew by, didn't it?
It does. It does go by quickly. But you'll hear it in my speech later. But yeah, these interactive sessions are fun. You really get to know people, and it's helpful.
Absolutely. Everybody's being really shy, so I think hopefully I will ask people to turn on their camera. I think I had a few individuals pop in with their cameras. Hey, Tyler.
Hey, there it is.
Tyler, wait, Tyler, I'm confused. Tyler, what happened? Just in a matter of 1 week.
That it went away?
No, just the beard. I mean, Frank, help me out. Was there a beard there the whole time?
I don't remember if I had it or if I shaved some, but I don't know. It changes on the regular.
Absolutely. Well, that's great. That's wonderful.
I don't remember the beard.
Me either.
Maybe it's just more pronounced now.
Vanessa, how are you?
Better camera.
Vanessa, how are you? Your line is muted. There we go. All right.
Hi. Hi, good evening.
Hey, awesome. Where are you calling from?
I live in Texas, but tonight I'm actually in New Hampshire. So.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm not gonna hold that. I have a slide just for you. So please be careful how you answer my question. Please be careful. Hi, Mel. How are you? Yeah.
Sorry. Hi, I'm great.
Okay, where are you calling from?
I'm in New York.
Okay, I forgive you, so it's okay. I'm not too threatened by New York. That's okay. All right. Is it Nicholas? I see Nicholas.
It's actually Evie. This is my husband's computer.
Okay.
Where
are you calling from?
I'm calling from Maine.
Wow, interesting. So I have no jokes on Maine, so you're safe there.
I'm originally from Mass, so you can go there.
Really?
Yeah, you can go there.
Let me reserve my words. I think I'm going to be okay. I'm going to pass on that. Ishmael, how are you, sir?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing incredible. I saw in your header, I think you gave it away. Denver?
Yeah, Denver, Colorado.
Awesome. That's great. I love your backgrounds. Everybody that was able to get the background, that's awesome. Thank you for that. Frank and Tyler, forgive me. I needed to give this class something new. So I didn't give you guys a customized backgrounds for last term. So forgive me for that.
Nice. No, you share away, each time you do it, you get better at it, right?
Awesome. I'm waiting for Katie. If Katie, Donis, how are you? Gabriella, how are you?
Hello, everyone. I'm trying to put my camera and doing the setups. I'm sorry.
Take your time. No rush. Please take your time. I'm waiting for Katie. Katie told me she'd be calling in from Paris. So I just really I'm jealous. I wish I was in Paris. So if she does get on, tell her that boo, we're all jealous because we want to be in Paris, some of us. So can you imagine Paris and Richmond, Virginia and Denver? That's an easy pick right there. I'd rather be in Paris right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up my slides. Can everybody see my slide? Okay, wonderful. Mel, thank you so much. Let me do this. Let me try to make it a little bit bigger, full screen. This is what I wanted to do. I'm really enjoying this rally. I'm recording for some of your peers. So if the FBI is looking for you, this would be a good time to turn off your camera because it will become public information. So I am recording this. So for some of your peers that could not make it this evening, they'll have access to it. And so what I want to do is I have an agenda for you, but it's going to be kind of light. I said I want to start at 7:05, a little bit 2 minutes late. So I do have a military background, so I'm kind of a little bit rigid. But we never end on time. So Frank and Tyler can tell you it's amazing. We start on time, but we never end on time. So that's that's the Air Force in me, right? So I would do a team introduction, get to know who you guys are. You guys kind of gave me an idea where you're located, course introduction. But I think probably the best part of this rally, besides giving you week 1 assignment and week 2, is to hear 2 people that have already been through this course already, right? And kind of hear directly from their mouth what this course is, what their challenges were, what the opportunities are. So I think that's what I want to do. If I am you, I want to hear from them, not from me directly, to be honest with you, because what they're going to say is more direct. I'm going to be biased. I've been doing this for 7 years, so I'm going to be extremely biased. So Tyler and Frank were in my previous term. So I'm going to let them take away to kind of introduce the course, and then I'll go over my agenda. So Tyler and Frank, any one of you can pick. You have 3 minutes, talk to your peers, and go away.
Frank, I'll let you go first because I'm going to see if I can hop over to my laptop real quick.
Oh yeah, no worries. Yeah, so, just talking about the course in general, there are going to be, a lot of terms, a lot of, material that really is extremely relevant to, society, things that are going on. I mean, these are, microeconomics. You guys are going to talk about ratios, financial ratios. So it give you a little bit more familiarity with, finance and economics. I think the nice thing about this course is whether you are someone that's in finance or economics or you're not, you're really going to get something out of it. What I would say in terms of kind of advice or things to kind of do is definitely participate in these sessions, ask questions. One of the nice things that Professor Bismark says is that he works for you, and I think that's an interesting way to put it, but he does, and so take advantage of that. Ask questions, get the information from him because he's very, very knowledgeable, and he didn't pay me to say that. He is a very knowledgeable person. Share your experiences. Every one of us can bring something to the table. He'll go into different parts of the course, and if something resonates with you, speak up, say something. It makes the course interesting and it relevant. And I think examples and that type of stuff really stick with people. So the concepts are there, but when you can put an example behind it or say, hey, you know what, I came across this, tell me about it, or how, talk to me about it. And I think it helps the class learn. So share experiences, ask questions, attend the meetings. I mean, everything you need is here. The slides that we go through have the course material broken down, and sometimes it can be a little, you think it can be a little bit challenging, but Professor Bismark is really good at breaking things down to make it understandable. And so he'll go through that. And, he keeps you on track because he goes through the assignments for the week, what's coming up next week. And it sort of gets you, it keeps you focused. So those are the things that I would say. And probably the biggest piece of advice is laugh at his jokes. he likes that. But all in all, it's a fun course. You really do learn a lot. He brings this stuff to life. So, enjoy it, but be part of it, participate. Okay.
Well, thank you so
Does that work?
Oh, Frank, absolutely. I mean, I think everything Frank is a scholar. I mean, I think if you guys, I don't know how much Southern Hampshire gives you guys platform to kind of build a relationship with your peers, but Frank works in this class, it made my job draw. I mean, the scholarship of his work was incredible. I mean that sincerely. It was far beyond what I could ever imagine. So if you doesn't mind, if you guys want, you ever reach out to him with his permission, take his name and his first and last name. You can send him an email if you have some questions. He was really, really good at this course. And he has a lot of value. And I think what he said also resonates a lot. This is a learning environment. If you're going to come in this course thinking that I know everything, I have all the answers, I'm going to disappoint you. because all I know is 1 + 1 is 4. So if that's wrong, guess what? We're both in the same space, so because we can learn from each other. So let this be a learning environment. I think Frank really hit the nail on the head with that. All right, thanks, Frank. Please stay with us for a little bit if you can. Tyler, you're next, please.
Excellent. And that was perfect timing because I had to update a driver. Hopefully everybody's able to hear me. My microphone wasn't working before, so I see some head nods, so that's good. So,
Yep.
Yeah, Frank gave an awesome overview of the course, really in a nutshell, and some great advice that I'll reiterate, maybe just slightly, if anything, but definitely, I mean, hands down, the biggest piece of advice that I can give you is make the time and effort to attend these live lectures. They will be a game changer. Again, Professor Bismark did not pay us to say that. I'll admit it, I was a little skeptical. I made it to, I think this was my 14th course at SNHU. I think it was my 14th. And it was the first one that I had a good, consistent live lecture series for the entire term. So I was a little skeptical. I was like, I don't know what this guy's trying here, throwing me a curveball on my Tuesday nights. Because I think we did Tuesdays, maybe we did Wednesdays, but
That was Tuesday.
after the first one, I was like, okay, I'm in. I mean, engaging throughout the whole process. We had fun right from the get-go with our little introductions, engaging on some verbiage and terminology and whatnot that, you know, you don't necessarily have to use in the course, but it becomes very valuable as you continue to talk about, you know, different financial metrics and things like that. And he also gives you some nice little tidbits on, you know, things that he really likes to see in your papers. I won't steal any thunder there, but it also just offered a really solid avenue to connect with people in the class. And Frank, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there were at least 4 classes where we kind of took over the agenda that was provided and kind of went off on our own little tangents of like, well, this is really important stuff that we need to be talking about. And, you know, not that debates got heated on these, but very respectful, but people were coming from their different backgrounds and offering different points of view on different things that really shaped how I approach, you know, a number of different conversations nowadays and the way that I view some of my own research for, you know, my capstone and my final courses that I have. So definitely take the time and make the effort to attend these whenever possible. That being said, also anticipate that you might go over by about 30 minutes round to the next hour. So, but I promise you won't be bored at all for any of that time. I mean, it's pretty phenomenal. Definitely making the recommendation that more courses incorporate these live lectures. Aside from that, I think, you know, don't hesitate to speak out. Even if there's a question that you're unsure of and you don't want to seem like the dummy in the class that's unsure of, you know, whatever this potentially super common term is because you hear it on the news every day or you see it on Reddit or whatever it may be, don't hesitate to ask, because I absolutely guarantee you somebody else is going to either also be unsure or may have a partial definition for what something is. So just be engaged, ask questions. Everybody's going to learn together. Professor Bismark is going to learn with you guys as well. And just, I don't know, be ready and have your cameras on whenever possible because it does drive engagement. And if you don't, Professor Bismark will certainly ask you questions as you go through.
Great. Well, Tyler, thank you so much. Just again, add on to what Frank said and what you just said. One of the things that you said that kind of really resonate is just that whole engagement piece, right? And I think this is a little bit unconventional. I've been talking to the university and just letting them know that it's one thing to have online learning, but the real learning starts when we all engage with each other because we're all brilliant. It reminds me of a great quote from Tom, and we went to one time he said, you know, the perfect definition of education, right, is to know that you don't know anything, right? And I think that is where learning really begins. And Tyler didn't say he actually co-teach. So it was Frank and Tyler actually co-taught the class. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, Tyler has a great expertise in Excel. So we're doing financial modeling 101, net present value, internal rate of return, payback period. And guess who taught the class? Tyler did, right? I introduced the concept. He came in, hit a home run. That's what we do. So if you have an expertise in inflation, I would want you to teach inflation. I'll give you my cheat notes as much as possible to ensure that, you feel confident. By the end of the day, we all have something to share. And I think we can take away from this rally, we're all going to be good, but we're going to be in a good place. All right. Thank you so much to the both of you. I really, really appreciate it. All right. So we're going to go in our agenda. And one of these old school fashion instructors, and I want to get a little bit of engagement, right? So help me out a little bit with an exception to Frank and Tyler. What do you guys see? What do you see? I just want to, you can call it out or you can put it in the chat. Tell me what you see. Okay, somebody says, Mel says a horse. Anybody else? What do you see? If you can, okay. A woman's face.
Too.
Awesome. You see a bird. Okay. I love that. It makes I see a sunset. That's the first time I've gotten that. A horse and a woman's face. And what else? Okay, female's face. I like to hear your voice too. So don't, if you can, because where you are, if you can unmute, that'd be really, really awesome. Because I'm reading from the chat at the same time. Okay. So can you imagine just one picture that's about a few of us on this call, right? And we're all seeing different things. Ishmael saw a sunset. Somebody saw a woman first. Somebody saw a horse first. Here's my point in this slide. I like to use optimal illusions to do a lot of my lessons. We all see things from different perspectives. Economics 101. Remember, economics is a function of finance, right? It's one school of thought, and then we married economics, which is very hypothetical, right? Based on objectives and things that people perceive to be true that we can quantify, right? Or make it a qualitative analysis to make a decision. We all don't see things the same. You got to see that in this course. Your peers will see something from a different perspective. That is not wrong. But as long as we can apply the concept to make it work, you can fly along, we can fly with it. All right, let's do another one, just in case those I didn't see. So if I can hear you this time, that'd be great. What do you see?
I see a frog sitting on a tadpole.
Awesome. Okay, who needs baptism? That doesn't see. There's one more image that we don't see. Somebody needs holy hands. There's another thing that we're missing. I can give you a clue. Kentucky Derby.
Professor, I'm gonna drop off. Take care.
Thank you so much, Frank.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Take care, Tyler. All right, have a good class, everyone.
Thank
Okay.
you.
What else do you guys see? The frog is definitely, I see this one more image that we're not seeing in here. Vanessa, any luck? So Vanessa's turning her head. I love it.
I see the frog.
Kentucky Derby? Okay. I can't think of another easy example that will give it away. Oh my goodness. Stallion?
Like a horse coming out the water, like a horse's head.
Thank you, Mel. Thank you. Everybody see the horse now? It's a horse.
Yes.
So the frog's face is the nose and the mouth. Look at the eyes in the middle. You see the horse? Okay,
it's on
thanks.
its side.
Awesome. Thank you very much. So if you're thinking, what on heavens does this image have to do with economics? Sometimes the obvious is not obvious. Fair point? Sometimes something that you may think would be extremely obvious in financial modeling 101 may not be obvious in the market because people are irrational. There's a term that we use in economics 101, we call irrational exuberance, which was made famous by Alan Greenspan. Human beings are not rational people. I'm not insulting us. I'm a human being last time I checked. We're not rational. In our decision-making, it's not always rational in our best interests. Can I prove it? When you're driving, we're asked to wear what?
Seatbelts.
Seatbelt. How many of us really do that unless we really don't like our life, right? Okay, it's in our best interest, right? But somebody will fight you. And I'm gonna get real controversial to make a point, okay? Real controversial, but we have to jump off it real quick. Mask, right? You wear it to protect me, I wear it to protect you, but that becomes it becomes a debate of what you believe and what you don't believe, right? But somebody would say, well, it's rational, just wear the mask. That's so easy for you to say, right? Because you understand where the person is coming from. Economics is like that, okay? We'll break it down in this course, the rationality. All right. Last one, right? What do you see?
I see the face of an old man with mustache
good.
and beard.
And Meg is literally turning her laptop upside down, herself upside down.
I
Please
saw
be
a dog with a bone.
Yeah.
excellent. Excellent. Who sees that same? A dog with a bone. Okay. Now, Tariq is also doing the same thing. Interesting. And I gave you a clue. What was the clue that I gave you? There was a clue that I
The
gave you.
picture of the McDonald's, the M
was-
is upside down.
Thank you very much, Vanessa. In Economics 101, you have to be vigilant. The market gives us all the information we need to make the right decision, but sometimes we don't trust the market. All the clues are there. We know what unemployment numbers are going to be. We know what GDP numbers are going to be. We know what inflation target is going to be, but we don't trust the market because we want to make irrational decisions. So sometimes the answer stares right in front of you. Take the clues that the market gives you in Economics 101. All right. So that was the right answer. So those that got it, kudos. I want to get to know you guys. So we're going to play a little game. Tell us about yourself. And I have some boxes, right? Your favorite colors, a little corny, but ride with me for a moment. Your favorite subject. I'm most happy when you don't have to do all boxes. Just pick about 3 of those boxes. So when I'm doing my lesson, I know how to cater and personalize the examples. If you tell me your favorite color, your favorite subject, it helps me in my course delivery. So if you wouldn't mind, I don't have everybody's name popped up on my screen. So the first person I see is Vanessa. Vanessa, you want to start me off if you can? Then you guys can go randomly.
The last movie I watched was, I think it's like 1983's The Thing, with starring Kurt Russell, in honor of Halloween, with my 13-year-old son, because I love scary movies, and finally agreed to watch it with me. So it still holds up.
You are a cool mom.
Yesterday I was in New Hampshire, so I'm in, part of the reason why I chose this school for work, to do my degree, is because I travel some with my work. So this week I'm on travel in New Hampshire. So, I like the flexibility of doing things online, the way the school does it. It's made it easy with my schedule because it's not always predictable. And tomorrow I get to go home. So,
Please, safe journey, safe journey. Thank you so much for being a good team player and going first. Anybody want to jump in? I need 3 more. Anybody?
Sure, I'll jump in.
Great.
See, most people don't know that I am actually a finance counselor with Southern New Hampshire University. I wouldn't recommend anybody ask me any questions because I'm still a newly hired, so please do not ask me anything about your FAFSA or any type of question like that.
Cool.
Last movie I watched was Catch Me If You Can with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Okay, that's a
And
great one.
favorite color, I would have to say purple.
Awesome. That's great. Wow. Excellent. Anybody else?
Okay,
I'll go.
go. Oh, sorry. Okay, I go then. Well, right now, I like the one that says, right now I feel very frustrated because I'm trying to put my camera on and it's not working, and it was working before. So I'm very frustrated right now.
Sorry.
Yeah, then maybe for the next one, I'll get that set up and hopefully we'll work through the class. And my favorite color is pink. And I'm very happy when everything goes this way I plan it. So I'm not happy now because I plan it to be in the class with the camera and it's not working correctly. And that's all.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. And I'm confident the next class is going to work very well. Okay. Excellent. I think Mel, you wanted to jump in, but you let your colleague go. That was nice of you.
Oh, sure. So my favorite color is blue. I really hate it when I'm in a toxic environment, and most people don't know that I can't swim, seeing that I actually come from Jamaica, which is surrounded by water.
Oh, wow. That's cool. And I wish we had like a real live class, so like at least we can bring like food, and so I can taste jerk chicken and be real stereotypical because I'm addicted to jerk chicken. So you can send me virtual Zoom for jerk chicken. I'll pretend it tastes good. But yeah, thank you. Excellent, excellent. Anybody else? I'll take one more, and then we can jump. Anybody want to introduce themselves, share their background? Anybody?
I'll go for it.
Anybody?
This is Evie. Hi.
Hi.
My favorite color is purple. My favorite food is probably lobster.
Mhm.
And I really hate it when people are rude.
Oh, wow. Okay. Excellent. Keep that in mind. Great, great interjection. I'll honor my words that that was the last one. But if anybody else dying to share, please let me know. And then next class, I want to do another introduction of what your professions are. That'll be very helpful also. I want to lead by example. If I had $1 million, I would not share with you guys. I don't know you guys. It's the truth, right? Okay. Now, Vanessa, don't look at me like that because I know you would not share that with me. I'm a very good looking guy. I know you wouldn't even give me the money for that. So let me forget that. Wow. My favorite subject, can you guess? Economics. I'm a geek, okay? I literally can't wait to read economic reports. It's that I have no life in that, so I'm a geek in that.
Is it macro or micro?
Excellent. So economics in whole, so there's two subjects, right? So it could be macro, it's a small portion, then macro, but I like macro better because macro deals with the aggregate, employment, GDP, and inflation. I like that more in monetary policy. So good point. So there's two schools of thought. The last movie I watched that I was actually awake, I can't watch a full movie without sleeping. Me and my wife are benching on a show on Amazon. It's called Railroad, something Underground Railroad. It's so cool. Oh my! Oh, Vanessa, you seen it? Yeah.
Well, it's on my list of things to watch, but I saw good things about it. I saw the preview.
Yes,
Yes,
exactly. So that actually stayed up a few episodes, and then I've been benching on Madam Secretary. It used to be on CBS about foreign policy. I know I'm a geek. I know it gets me. Now I'm doing the reruns of it, so that's about it. So you guys can laugh at me later, make fun of me. I'm okay with that because I don't really take myself serious. I've been doing this for about 7 years. I teach 3 courses for Southern New Hampshire University, but for the past few semesters, I've just been wanting to focus on one course. I teach economics, which is the 640. I also teach leadership. And then also teaching international capital markets because my professional training is an investment banker when also with B of A. My teaching philosophy is a utility for learning. It's a fancy word for saying that I believe that everybody can learn. Mark Twain said, don't ever let education get in the way of learning. When I hear my colleagues say a student can't learn, I laugh because it's the instructor's fault. You have failed to learn how the student learns. I take that very, very passionate. Everyone can learn. You just got to figure out how they learn. That's my premise to teaching. I've been an investment banker for 18 years. I'm still doing that. There's a company called Plug-in Corporation that I'm a partner there. My main focus is technology, trade, and FDI's foreign direct investment. And my favorite quote that I tattoo on myself is something that I live by. And I'm going to leave with you at the end of the course. It says, the world would never be destroyed by evildoers. They'll be by good people who watch them do it. I believe in that. Let that marinate for a little bit. We can see all the challenges around the world. Okay, the world would never be destroyed. It'd be good people like you and I watching them do it, right? So that's my favorite quote that I live by every day. Some of the things that keeps me happy in this order is God, number one. I don't apologize for my faith, my family, and my work in that order. That's my priorities in life. God comes first. God is my everything. My family is my rock, and then my work in that order. I used to be in the Air Force, so I'm an Air Force veteran. And I forgive anybody that's in the Marine or Navy, because Air Force, we're just the best. We're not chair force. We actually do stuff, right? But somebody's shaking their head no. I have authored 3 books. And then every Friday, we have something called Family Fun Nights in my household. So family means a lot to me. I spend a lot of time with my family. I have a joke for you, and I hope you laugh. Who wants to get an A in the course? Who's aim? Okay, Vanessa. Okay.
I do.
Okay, I do. Okay, phenomenal. What's your favorite football team? Answer well.
Patriots.
Okay, okay.
I'm not shy to say it. I'm proud to say Patriots fan
Okay.
all the way.
If you football, it's not something you have to. I'm very curious. What's your favorite football team? Any
So I
Dallas
feel like
fans?
I know what I should say, but I'm from Texas, so I feel like those words can't come out of my mouth. So
Yeah, you just failed my class. So if I were you, just don't come to class again. You just failed for this semester. Right? Because I'm thinking that you want to say Dallas. But if I were you, you just failed the course. So A is not your portion. Anybody else? I'm giving you a hint. We're scared now all of a sudden? Yes, okay. All right, I am a diehard Washington football team fan. I'm a fanatic. All right, we suck right now. I say right now because I have hope. I've been hoping for 22 years to get a winning season, and I'm still hoping. So please, if you're a Dallas fan, if I were you, you have just failed my class. Everybody else, pretend like my team. Then you have a virtual A. I didn't say a real A, I said a virtual A. All right, so just pretend that you like my team, all right? Just to line up the mood. But Vanessa, you know I'm joking, right? But you do have a virtual, it's a virtual F, but the real grade is on a bright. All right. So what is this course? Now I'm officially going to start. What is this course all about? It blows my mind. If you're taking notes, I am going to email this to you. So you're going to have all of my slides and every documentation. I'll always email it to you. So if you're taking some fast notes, I'm going to talk a little fast, but I'll try to slow it down so you get a better understanding of what the course is, right? It's very abstract, right? So course is continuation from 520. So meaning that there's a prerequisite to the course, accounting and financial analysis. When you get here in week 1, we're talking about quantitative and qualitative analysis. So think of quantitative, something that's numeric. I can quantify. That's where we get the Latin word from, quanti. I can quantify it, right? Numbers driven. Qualitative is the subjective, right? Concepts that are abstract, but we still want to put zeros and 1 towards it. Favorite color, favorite this, something that we can put into surveys that are subjective. We call it qualitative. Then Mel asked me a question earlier that I'm an economic geek, but which kind of economic geek am I, right? So we have a geek prom for economics. We do. So I go to these conferences for all these economists. It's like our prom. We're geeks. It's our geek prom. And we talk economic words. We get excited. So there's microeconomics, then there's macro. So if you don't remember, the best example I can give you is a box of pizza. Anybody hungry? A box of pizza. A box of pizza, if you take 1 slice of it, it's micro, which is MICRO. It's a small portion of the economy. You're looking at pricing, you're looking at supply and demand and equilibrium and price sensitivity. Just a small caption of the economy. Where you live, do you have a mayor? Anybody have a mayor where they live? Do you have a governor? Okay, mayors and governors only deal with all parasyllabus, which means whole else constant in Latin. They only deal with the small things in their community. Like your city council person, when you have a pothole, you don't call President Biden for that, do you? No, you don't call President Biden to come and fix your pothole. So your city council person looks at the micro part of your city. So think of microeconomics as price stability, competition, supply and demand. I'm going to teach you the greater difference between the two. Then macro is the whole pizza. Macro is the entire box of the pizza. You're looking at GDP, which stands for gross domestic product. You're looking at employment. There's 3 types of employment. We're going to go over that in the course. You're looking at interest rates, and then monetary policy, which is the cost of money, which is interest rate. So this is the Joe Biden of the world, or your governor of the world. They look at the entire state, or they look at the entire country. That's the best example I can give you. A pizza box, one slice at the micro. I'm looking at the small business owner. I'm looking at their pricing. Macro, I'm looking at the entire economy. That's what we're going to learn in this class. Then there's a concept in the course that says internal financial priorities. That's a mouthful. That's a fancy word for saying, how do we look at financial matrix? How do we measure if a company is doing good or bad? And then investment decision making. It's a skill. I want to teach you the ability to make an informed decision looking at different matrix. You can't only look at one thing to make an effective decision in economics. There's so many other factors. We're going to go about that in this class. Organizational sustainability and growth, mergers, debt versus financing. Oh my God, that's a whole entire week module. It's called business combination. I would teach you how Steve Jobs got fired from Apple because he did not understand this concept. There's a reason why Mark Zuckerberg has so much dominance in Facebook for all these years since it went public. This is because he understood business combination strategy. We're going to learn about that. Debt and equity. So think about debt, personal, right? If you go to the bank, you take a loan, principal and interest in business for commercial loans. Equity, think of the stock market, right? Taking equity into something is a type of funding in the capital market. So capital market is a fancy word in business that says, where do we go to raise money? We're going to learn about that in this course. And then foreign currency, we're going to go around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a reason why the dollar is so powerful. You're going to learn, oh my God, why the dollar is the most preferred currency in the world and the benefit that you have. If Mel goes to, Jamaica has the Canadian, the Jamaican dollar. And Mel, put me on the spot for a moment. If you take $100 to Jamaica, does it go a very long way?
100 US dollars to
Yes.
Jamaica? Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's what they want. They don't want the Jamaican money.
Yes, there's a reason for that. When the Europeans come here, let's use the pound and the euro for example, because the euro is stronger than the dollar. When the Europeans come here, they get a field day. They can go to our malls and shop because their currency goes longer. If you go to Jamaica right now with $1,000, you're going to be living large for your vacation. It goes longer. I want to teach you the nuances of how that happens. And then there's something called foreign direct investment, right? That's what this course is all about. You're going to do an expansion to another country of your choice. But the companies, I give it to you. There's 3 you can choose from. But where you go, God bless you, it's up to you. It's called foreign direct investment in some capacity. Why do businesses want to expand overseas? There's a technique. That's what you're going to be building on for week 1. And that paper can be I've seen as much as 52 pages. I've seen as little as 25 pages, and we're going to build up to it each week. And then international trade. So that's the best I can do for you in the last few minutes about what the course is. A lot. If this is overwhelming, welcome. This is what I want you to feel like, oh my God, what is he talking about? Welcome. I'm glad you're thinking that. If you already know this, please help me teach it. Please, because I'm going to need your help. Right? So this is what I'm going to work with. When you leave me in 10 weeks, you're literally going to be spitting these words out like, oh my God, is that simple? It is, right? It really is, okay? If we didn't make it complicated, I won't have a job. So that's the secret, right? If they didn't make it complicated, I won't have a job. So that's all. Okay, so with that said, let's get into what I'm proposing we will do as part of your rally. I'm gonna be, instead of volunteer, I'm going to say voluntold. Best practices has been, I would like to keep these lectures on Tuesdays. I've tried Wednesday, it didn't work. I tried Thursdays, it didn't work. I tried Saturdays, it didn't work for the last few years. Tuesday has been best practice, meaning that I can introduce the concept early in the week. Then you have the entire Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, exactly, I'm winking 11:58 to turn in your assignment at 12 o'clock, right? Because some of us will wait, okay? It gives you enough time. That's why if Tuesday can't work for you, I sincerely apologize, right? But if we put it on Wednesday, it's not gonna help too much. Thursday, forget it. Friday, I wouldn't do it, right? You know why? Saturday, oh my God, no way. Sunday, I'm getting ready for my Redskins to win. Oh, excuse me, I can't call them Redskins, my Washington football team. Okay, so our lectures are gonna be Tuesdays, please, okay? I picked Wednesday today because it's the first week and I want you guys to have some time to plan for it. We're gonna start at 7 p.m. to 8:30 Eastern time. All the recordings will be available to you. My research notes, so if I give you a template, if your finance is not your best bet, like Professor Bismark, I'm struggling with Excel, how to do these formulas. I understand. I want you to learn that skill, but it's not this course. I want you to learn in it. Go take an extra class on YouTube. I will give you my formula sheets. I'll give you my spreadsheets, but there's a catch. I want you to understand what you're calculating. I don't want you to spend 3 hours learning how to calculate something that you don't understand. I'd rather have you figure out what does this formula mean versus spending 3 hours of your precious time trying to figure out how to work Excel. Ladies and gentlemen, we're in the year 2021, you can hire someone for that, but you can't hire someone to think for you or to make your analysis for you in the boardroom. Is that a fair point? In the boardroom, when they ask you what this number means, you better respond. Your accountant can calculate that for you. Your financial controller can calculate that for you. That's their job. Ladies and gentlemen, let me give you something I learned from my mentor the hard way. One time we were in a meeting at B of A, and I adored this manager of mine. He taught me everything I knew. He was so patient because I was a dum-dum. And one time he asked a question and the whole room was like, sir, you're the VP, you should know that. His response changed my life. He said, ladies and gentlemen, if I knew that, how to calculate that, you won't have a job. So what is it gonna be? I was like, wow. He said, I'm not interested in how to calculate this. Tell me what this number is, then I know what it means to the business. So have the confidence that you don't need to know how to calculate it, just know what it means and which benchmarks you can use. Does that make sense? I want to pause for a moment. It's a powerful concept in business. You don't have to know how to calculate it inside and out, but trust that you have a good team that they won't give you something wrong, but you know what it means. So when somebody says debt to income ratio, you know what the ratio is. What's good ratio and bad ratio? So if they give you 22, okay, go back. I need a better number because you know what the number means. Don't worry about calculating it. I'll walk you through every milestone, step by step. I'll take the rubric and I will tell you exactly what's in my mind for each column, and I'll send you the notes. Fireside chat, that's what Frank and Taylor was talking about. We've had many nights that I'm like, wow, I just put my Zoom on mute and the class goes for like 20 minutes, just engaging each other in their workplaces and their examples and helping each other. So I like the fireside chat, grading, assignments, communication, fear versus feedback, right? Don't you ever, fear means false evidence appearing real. Don't be afraid. I want you to fail. I literally want you to fail because that's how we're gonna learn, right? Get out of your comfort zone. Be so comfortable with being uncomfortable in this class because I have your back. I have your back. So ask for feedback, right? Feedback is like, look, what the heck are you talking about? Stop, go back, let me make sure I understand it. Ask for feedback, right? Making sure that we're all on the same page. So don't be fearful. And then at the end of every class, I'm gonna take a poll. What did you learn? Vanessa, what did you get out of this? How are you gonna connect this? What clarification? Then at least I know where we're going as a class, all right? So that's the structure to my delivery. Okay, that's how I do my lectures. Any comments, takeaway before I go to my next slide? No? Nope, okay, I'm taking the silence as no. All right. So now let's get into this week's case study, all right? I'm gonna give you a cheat sheet, which is to actually discuss something that is for grading, and I'm okay with that because you need to understand why this case study is always chosen. Harvard uses it, and it's one of the best examples that we have that helps people understand what we call qualitative analysis and then quantitative analysis in the context of the case study. So let's discuss that for a few minutes. Who has read it? Who hasn't read it yet? Nobody?
I've not had the chance to read it yet.
Thanks for being honest. No, even the Dallas fan hasn't read it yet. I thought Dallas were scholars. No? Okay. I'm being biased because it's one of my favorite case studies, right? So it's a case study that literally wants to teach you everything that this course has to offer, okay? And this case study, the premise of it, right, is you have a company, New Earth Mining, that is doing extremely well in the abstract industry. Abstract industry is gold, right, iron ore, anything you abstract from the ground, okay? And they want to do what we call vertical integration and horizontal integration, okay? Let me pick on you guys for an example. We have a lesson in this. Tell me which company has the best fries, and I will link it to the case study. Best fries, answer wisely because I'm hungry.
McDonald's.
Okay, who else?
I would have to say Five Guys.
Five Guys, okay. So now with McDonald's and Five Guys, if I go to a McDonald's in Connecticut, does the fries taste the same versus the one in New Hampshire?
I don't think
Good.
so. I'm from New York, and I feel like it's different in different states.
Really? Okay, awesome. I can respect that. It could be different in different states, but their goal is to try to make it all taste the same, right?
Yes.
That's their goal. We call that standardization, right? And so they control the vertical. Vertical is when you control the supply chain from raw material processing, so you can be homogeneous in your taste. Horizontal integration in business, right? I'm in one industry. I'm doing something in shoes. I'm in the apparel business. All of a sudden, I want to add another apparel item to my business. So I go and invest or create another business unit somewhere. So this case study was trying to show you what a horizontal integration looks like with 4 different approaches. To do a mine in South Africa, and they use geopolitical tensions. They use the off-taker China, right? South Korea and Japan. And they have so much money on their balance sheet, but they get into this abstract way of financing this transaction. It blows my mind. So the job that you were supposed to do is to create a column. Which concepts were qualitative? Which concepts was quantitative? Quantitative was very easy for us to figure out, right? I have an 11-year-old and a 9-year-old. They can tell you the quantitative stuff. Like, Daddy, anything with numbers, right? They're looking for it. So what are the number parameters that are driving their decision? Qualitative, right, is the things that we can't really measure on the number line, like the geopolitical risk in South Africa, which I don't buy. All right, I can explain that to you in a different day. Okay, what are the other variables that we can measure, but it's important to the case study? Okay, so I'll give you my cheat sheet. So with all that said, this is for my visual learners because we all learn differently. So everything that I've just said, I've just summarized it on this slide. It's a mouthful. So let me go from the top where it says qualitative and quantitative, then I'll work my way down and I'll go to the right. So the basic definition of qualitative, right, is data. Data is very important. You're taking an MBA now, ladies and gentlemen. What is the difference between information and data?
Data is just raw.
It's raw.
Yeah,
Okay.
raw. And info is actually processed data, I think.
Perfect. Perfect. No, you don't have to think you're 100% right, right? So one side of it, we can do something with that information. So if you tell me 1 + 1 is 2, and I take that information, I go to the grocery store and I can buy 2 items, that item 1 and it has 2, I've learned, I'll turn that data into information. 1 is just raw at a stage, binary, zeros and ones. I can't really on a plot line, I can't figure it out. So qualitative, right? It can be expressed in numbers. Okay, it can be counted. So words, objects, pictures, observations, symbols are perfect example of qualitative concepts. Now, quantitative is quite the opposite, right? I can express it in numbers. It can be counted, and it's numbers and stats. So I've cheated for you. So now when you're reading the case study, create a column and say, what are the concepts that are qualitative? What are the concepts that are quantitative? Summarize that bad boy and slap it in your chat, in your discussion post. Now, why is Harvard doing this? Harvard, the difference between Southern New Hampshire and Harvard, I say that with my humility, is the quality of the instructors and the alumni that they build. Let's be really, really clear. The concepts are all the same, right? Supply and demand at Harvard is the same at our university. Now, the level of the rigor is what differs a little bit. So I think all of you guys are geniuses, so I'm not gonna dumb it down, okay? That's my point. You're geniuses, I'm not gonna dumb it down. So New Earth Mining wanted to diversify. Remember what I told you, they were doing gold, right? Now they went into iron ore. That's that diversification. It's still within the same type of abstract industry, but iron ore and gold, they move at different correlation in the market pricing. So it's a good thing to diversify. They understand the industry, they want to diversify. And then on my left-hand side, I'm sorry, I came back to commodity. That chart that I gave you that's going up and down with the purple line through, that's noise. You're gonna see that in so many parts of economics and business. It's just noise. We call that data noise. There are shocks up and down. There's the peak, there's the trough. Every number plot line in business, we can plot it this way. Business cycle, product life cycle, okay? They all follow this kind of trend. So commodity pricing is very cyclical. It means that it goes up and down, up and down. It's very volatile, is a better word, or there's shocks. Those are synonyms for what's happening. So now I'm back to horizontal and vertical. So the vertical was the example I gave you about the fries, right? With some exception. They try to keep everything so homogeneous because they can control the final output. We call that vertical integration. We have a whole chapter on that in this class. Horizontal is what they're trying to do. So if the Harvard students are learning that, wait, this case study, it's about a horizontal merger. They know exactly what that means. And then we use something called CPI in the context of measuring inflation, right? We call it Consumer Product Index, I believe. Okay, but in context of government, there's Corruption Perception Index that measures how corrupted some governments are. The word that this case study wants you to learn at a high level is geopolitics. Geopolitics. Where you and I are experiencing it every day of our life. We don't know it's called geopolitics. Can somebody tell me which one country we don't like, the US don't like?
Haiti.
Haiti? Okay,
Cuba.
that's the first. Cuba.
North
Okay.
Korea.
Russia.
North Korea. There's another one that is really large and we feel like they're a nuisance to us right now.
Russia.
Huh?
Or China.
Russia?
China.
China. I like China because China literally, Anthony Blinken. Who's Anthony Blinken? I'll give you a lot of pens. I'll give you like high five. Who's Anthony Blinken? He works for the government.
Is he the Secretary of State?
Thank you. Who said that?
Ishmael.
Ishmael, thank you. Well, thank you. Yes, he's the Secretary of State. He said this, quote, "We compete with China where we need to compete. We collaborate with China where we need to collaborate. We are adversaries where we need to be adversary." That is our foreign policy from Joe Biden to Anthony Blinken, which is our chief diplomat. Because China relationship is very complex. And if you didn't believe me, in the case study, China was mentioned, Japan was mentioned, South Korea was mentioned. All of that conversation is a huge geopolitical conversation around territorial and then type of governance, if they're communist or democracy. The case study wanted you to learn that. So the best I can do for you is what I've shown you, what the case study is all about. Pull the concepts, and then later on in the course, it's my job to add on to what the case study wanted to teach you with a crash course. Next week's assignment, I'm doing your homework for you. So now I'm getting to week 2. This is what you're paying me for. I think one of your colleagues said earlier that I work for you. So this is an example of what he was trying to tell you. In week 2, you're required to do what we call financial modeling, okay? Don't be scared, okay? Don't be scared. I'm gonna email you. Oh, I'm having some technical difficulty. I'm trying to move my screen so I can see. Aha, I'm back. I'm gonna email you a template, okay? I'm gonna email you a template. I'm gonna show you what the template looks like, and you're just gonna plug and play. But you have to indulge me for a little bit, if you are not already. For your research, you're required to pick a company. Go through your module. There are 3 companies. Nordstrom is one of them. LS Strat is one of them. Another IT company is one of them. You can't go outside of those 3. Now, if you're Dallas Cowboys and you're dying to do a company in Texas because you have direct access to the CEO and you can get any information that you want, and this is a company that is your childhood dream to be the CEO of, I will make an exception. But I'm not a nice person, but I'm very kind. Those are 2 different types of people. Don't come to me in week 8 and say you change your mind. You're SOL. I won't mind you. You're a professional. Okay? Politely saying that. So if you're gonna pick a company, make sure I gave you data point sites. Make sure that all of these is gonna come in handy again for one of your executive paper. Pay attention to this slide when you get it. It's a very important slide. I've given you every single major website that I know of as a professional where you can get data from. And I made a small typo at the bottom. It's state.gov, not G-O-V-E, okay? V-E, sorry for that, please, I apologize. Okay, make sure you can get data from any company outside the 3 that I propose. So now let me help you set up the financial model. Before I can do that, I got to give you background knowledge, because in your rubric, this is what the rubric said. The role should include revenue, expenses, calculated profit, calculate gross profit margin, should represent 2 years of history, 3 years of reasonable projection, right? And then the rest is escaping me, including a few sentences of key assumptions, conclusions. The spreadsheet must be accurate calculations and professional on the screen and when printed. Blah, blah, blah. And you do the math. And I give you the math for gross profit margin. You guys can see I'm struggling with my Zoom. Ladies and gentlemen, not everybody understands revenue, expenses, calculated profit. We make an assumption that 520 and beyond helped you. So I need to explain it. If you know it, kumbaya, please pause me and say, Prof, I want to teach you this one. Revenue is the top line. Revenue is always the top line. It's referred to in business as the top line, right? It's your number, it's your price times your quantity, okay? Gives you revenue. Another word for revenue is called sales. Let me give you, for those that are taking notes, let me give you an aha moment. Now that you have an MBA, don't you ever, ever, ever make this mistake of when somebody tells you, Apple says, we made $400 billion in revenue, laugh. It means nothing in business. It's a joke. What do you mean you made $400 billion in revenue? What about if your expenses were $700 billion? Then you might as well go sell cookies. Okay? Revenue is the top line. Now that you have an MBA, don't get tickled. Just say it's nice information to have. That's it. Just make it part of your arsenal to make a decision. Expenses is debt. What did it cost me to generate that revenue? Sometimes we call it cost of goods sold in accounting 101. Okay, let me break it down for those that are like really phone tech. I'm holding my phone. I'm really cheap. I have an iPhone 6X. I can't do 10, 7. As long as I can make a phone call, they pick, I'm okay, right? So I don't need an upgrade. You guys are more rich than I am, so I don't need an upgrade. Apple sells this thing for $200. I mean, right now, let's say it's valued at, let's say, $200. Somebody gives it for free. Okay. Apple needs to tell me how much it costs them to make this phone directly. Maybe Apple can say, you know what, we want to sell for $200, but it cost us $50 to make it. That's their cost of goods sold. There's always a direct expense to the product before operating expenses and administrative expenses and taxes and so forth. So the top two lines in Business 101 is the top line is your revenue. We want to look at cost of goods sold. What is the expense that went into me generating this money? Okay. Then we calculated profit. So profit is a function of your revenue minus your expenses. If you want to be really technical, total revenue minus total cost gives you my profit. I have that in my spreadsheet for you. Anytime you hear the word margin, right, in business, the next unit, how much profit would I make if I sell one more item? We call that gross profit margin. So I take my net sales. Help me out, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want to make any assumption, okay, because we're on this together. What's the difference between gross and net? Think of your paycheck.
Tax, after tax and before tax.
I like that, right? So it's a deduction before and after. That's the key. It's a deduction before and after. You guys remember, I mean, you guys are all holy, I guess. I remember my first job I looked at my paycheck. It was amazingly big, $300. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna retire. I was really young. Then I look at the bottom, it's like 222. I'm like, what happened? Who stole my money? I'm like, I was upset. I went to my boss. I'm like, look, and the street guys, I don't want no smoke, man. What happened? They're like, sir, it's called net. I'm like, who's net? Who's FICA? Who's all these people? See, they don't teach me what I need to know in school, right? I know Shakespeare and all these fancy things, but real life application. See, why are you laughing so hard, my brother? Please, easy on me. I
found it funny. It's like, I don't want no smoke, but it just reminded me when I was a kid, when I first paycheck, when I got 16, how pissed off I was. I was like looking at my money, like, where the hell's my money?
Exactly. I'm serious about that, right? Because I didn't know the difference between gross and net. A lot of walking professionals don't even know the difference between gross and net. So in business, we operate as a future executive. You're already one, right? You operate off the net. You make your decisions on net, not on gross. So know the difference between the two. And then 2 years, this is a very important concept in your homework. So pick any 2 years, base year. We call it base year, right? So let me pick on Nordstrom, for example, right? We're in the year 2021. What I can do, I know we have an outlier. COVID was a complete outlier. Outlier means it's something that was abnormal, okay? It's skewed. So I can say, okay, I'm gonna go through all these, I gave you these websites, right? I'm gonna pull their financials. I'm gonna look at them, use as an example. I'm gonna look at the year 2017 and 2028. Those numbers are given to me. And I'm gonna find their revenue for that year. I'm gonna find their expenses for that year. I'm gonna find the calculated profit for that year and the gross profit. That's my columns. If you wanna wow me, add more. Administrative, taxes, you can make the columns more if you want to, but you don't have to. The bare minimum is revenue, expenses, calculate their profit, and then give me their gross profit margin. That's what your purely requirement is. But the more you do is gonna help you later on in the course. So that's my base year. It's called base. Then you're required to project 3 years out. Okay, so let's see if you'll follow me, for example. So if I start my base year with 2017, 2018, what's gonna be my next 3 years that I can forecast out? Help me out. Mel, your line is muted, ma'am. What's the 3 years that I can forecast out?
So it would be 17, 18, and 19?
Okay, so my base year is 2017 and 2018. That's my base. So those 2 years are my historical, right? We're making an assumption. What are the 3 years in the future that I can bring in? Let's see if I heard you right. So after 2018, then what can I get?
You can get 2019, 2020, and 2021.
Perfect. That's how you lay. If somebody said that, I apologize. I didn't hear very well. That's how you set up your spreadsheet. And I'm going to show you that in a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, and then your rubric is asking you few sentences of key assumptions. Assumptions are what made you forecast those 3 years? What numbers did you use? And why did you make revenue 200 in year 2019? Why did you make it 250 in 2020? Why did you make it 400 in 2021? You have to make an assumption. It just can't be because I said so. It doesn't work in this level of course. So it's called key assumptions. I'm going to show you how to make assumptions. And anytime you hear presentation vehicle in this class, it's a fancy word for saying make your spreadsheet look beautiful. This is it. This is what I'm looking for. This is what I just went over in long term. Your spreadsheet that I'm about to send to you will give you this template. Your job is to plug and play. Okay? Set it up politely, like the way I've set it up. If you want to be creative, I don't want to push you in the box. Be creative. But this is the standard. Anything less than that, if you give me garbage work, I give you garbage feedback. Try again. If you put effort into it, I'll give you my effort feedback because I want you to grow. If you put 5 minutes of work in, I will know it's 5 minutes. I'm going to give you 5 minutes of my response back. If you put an hour worth of work in and beyond for the quality, I give you my quality response. Is what you give me is what I get back to you as professionals. So, ladies and gentlemen, did I go over the historical? So when I talk about historical performance, you see 2017, 2018, right? Physical year is just a year. We just talk about physical calendar. Revenue, I went over revenue. Do we care about revenue in business as an executive? You get excited? No.
No.
Cost of sales, okay, give me some direction. Calculated gross profit, okay. And then operating expense is extra. Profit margin, I want to see that. Everything else is just extra. If you can't find it, don't add it. We forecast 3 years out. 2019, 2020, 2021. And then we're going to do some assumptions. The assumption is what reasoning, if it's market factor, like let's say, for example, let's say the obvious. What rocked the world in this last past 2 years? What has rocked the world in 2020 and 2020 and 2020 and 2021? What's rocking us?
COVID.
COVID. You can add COVID into your analysis or abstract COVID from your analysis. It's a choice. So let's see if we're all on the same train of thought. 2018 was a robust year. 2019, not too bad. All of a sudden in 2020, can we make an argument? Can you make an argument in a straight face if especially you are within the apparel industry, holding that else constant, that sales was the best for them in 2020? Can you make an argument on that intelligent-wise? You're gonna have to show me something that you know, unless you have some insider trading information, because I don't want to go to jail. So don't tell me, because I don't want to go to jail with you, right? But if you steal $3 billion, let me know. We can go to jail together, right? We're going to be roommates. But I don't want to know any information that's criminal. So make sure your assumptions are realistic. How do you do that? Have some benchmark and explain why your numbers are increasing. You can make it up, but make it reasonable. That's how you do an assumption. Keep it reasonable, right? If you're talking about in 2017, if you do a percent change in the number and they were growing, look at revenue growth. Let's look at the revenue for 2017 and 2018. Was there a big jump in their revenue? Not much, right? But all of a sudden you come to 2019 and you make that number 45 million. Is that reasonable growth? No, thank you. I agree. Those are shaking there. It's not reasonable, but you can explain it. So any questions before I go to my next slide about the assignment? I am going to send you these slides and then a template.
I do
Any
have
questions?
I do have a question. You know that 2020, we have the pandemic and it kind of was like something that it wasn't expected. And it's like in financial, it's like hard to predict and how to analyze the type of like a scenario. So if we're working on projecting a financial sheet, right? Is 2020 like a good year to consider for the company? I don't know if that's the right question, but what I'm trying to say is like, I'm trying to project 2021, 2022, 2023. Can I consider 2020, even though it's like that year is kind of like out of a regular, market behavior and everything like that?
Absolutely, you can, right? And to support what you just said, you use the right words. It's noisy, it was irregular, right? It's something that wasn't normal, and you can support that in your analysis. So that's why in 2021 we had a robust growth, or in 2022 we had a robust growth where we were recovering from the pandemic of 2020 and 2021. That's analysis. You just done an analysis. You took a bad year, you explained why there was a massive growth in 2023 or 2022. You can do that.
Okay, but it won't give me like a false analysis. That's what I was trying, because it's
It would not, because you can support it with your data.
Okay.
Good, very good question. Anybody else? Going once? Going twice? All right, excellent, excellent, sold. Okay, so I'm gonna close for the first. I'm actually gonna try to be on time. This is it. This is how I teach, right? This is how I teach. I can only get better if you give me feedback, right? That's how I can grow. But each week we're gonna pick it up, make things more available to you, expand. That doesn't mean that you can't send me emails. I've introduced the course. I've given you the different style of learning, how we're gonna make this class work. You guys were extremely engaging tonight. Thank you so much. Some of you laughed at my jokes, so they made me think that I'm funny. So thank you for that. I feel confident. But on a serious note, I think I managed your expectations. I showed you exactly what I'm looking for, right? And I'll deliver on what I said I'm gonna do. So here are some of the takeaways for us. I'll get to number one in a moment. So just keep note that your assignments are due on Sunday. I recap that we're going to keep our lectures on Tuesday. Many of your peers will join, but I'm not going to change the dates, humbly speaking, until somebody can say, look, is it better for us to do it on Wednesday, Thursday? If it's a consensus, I'll oblige, but this is the reason why. So if you do the spreadsheet, you have enough time to send it to me for feedback. But if you send it to me on Sunday, Saturday night, I'm not going to give you feedback in time for you to make any adjustments on Sunday. I don't think it's fair. So that's why I think I'm sticking to this date for now. I'm willing to learn. The recording will be available on Wednesday by close of day. So I'll take this recording and put it in the class announcement. And then feel free to send me an email with any feedback, anything you need clarification on, then we'll go from there. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, can I close out my slides? I can. Awesome. So this is the next assignment. Everybody in the chat, do me the biggest favor of a lifetime. Type in your email address, the email address that you would like to receive my notes. Okay. So when we're done, I am immediately going to email you two things. You're going to get my slides. Then you're going to get a sample of the spreadsheet for you to work on for next week. So you're ahead already. I like for us to be almost 1 week ahead of our peers. Okay. It helps us a lot. So at this pace, after this today, you're going to be literally 1 week ahead of your peers. Okay. So then you can start working on assignment number 2 as soon as possible if you want this week. Okay. Let me do my Red Robin. Vanessa, on my screen, I pegged some images. So if I'm picking on you all the time, please forgive me because you're the closest person to me. And I'm going to move you down because now that you're a Dallas fan that I know, I'm definitely don't want any jinx because I'm already losing already. I don't want to make things worse. So what is your takeaway? Vanessa, what did you learn today? What is your takeaway?
Well, I will say one thing I did learn, I was not familiar with the acronym FDI, foreign direct investment. So I went and looked it up to see what it was. So that's a new term for me.
So inquisitive. I like that. The fact that you also went out there to get more information about it. That's awesome. That's awesome. I know I'm gonna butcher your name. Forgive me. Is it Tariq or Tariq?
The first one's right. There's really no wrong way to say it. But I definitely the key takeaways. I'm with Vanessa as well. The FDI. I did not know that at all until I even had to Google it up too, just wondering what the hell it was, and then I was able to learn for myself. So that was definitely one of the key takeaways, and definitely another one is just how this could be a kind of a different environment compared to the rest of the classes that I've had, where it's just more discussions on Thursdays than passing the assignments on Sunday. So I think it's gonna be a great resource to be able to have a meeting and kind of go over all the slides and go over the homework as well. So I'm excited for that.
Excited to have you, sir. Absolutely. Mel?
Just to piggyback with what Tariq said, I've never known that this medium could actually work. So I'm really receptive of this forum. In addition to that, to be really honest with you, I normally do 2 courses. And once I see econ finance, I'm like, okay, it's gonna be 1. Because I'm actually like mentally stressed. But I like the fact that you actually break it down. And because I'm adopting that growth mindset, I'm actually excited. So thank you.
I'm glad for you. Absolutely. I like the phrase you use, growth mindset. That's how we're going to grow. So that's great. Thanks for adding that. Gabriella?
Okay, one of the takeaways from this first meeting with you guys, it's when they talking about revenue in the company, just get more information. And because to be honest, at the beginning, when we see that number, it sounds like, wow, that makes sense. But actually there is more to understand, that like the cost of goods and all that, to understand better what that means. And it's very important for me now that I work in the manufacturing company to try to understand what the data, what information can I get out of a data. So that's something that I also like about this explanation. And like everybody else, this is my 13th class of my master that I'm pursuing here. And I never had this type of interaction with any other class. So I'm very happy, I'm very excited, and I feel like already I have learned a lot. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Great summary there. Awesome. This is only the beginning. Is it Eva or Eve?
Evie, that's okay.
Evie. Oh,
That's
wow.
okay. That's
Oh,
okay.
wow. Blame it on the people that Vanessa told me that's how to pronounce it. So blame it on her.
It's all good.
Change your team, because I'm not going to stop 10 weeks of this. So just the day that if you beat me, I'm not coming to class. I mean, literally that day I'll just be a mute. So
I actually really like this forum. I had one other class. It was a math and stats class with a professor. I think it was on Sundays, would go over some of the problems that you could interact. But I really, I enjoy this type because I think you get energy from others, right? So you kind of feed off their energy and excitement and can learn from other people. So I really like this forum. And I'm going to agree with Mel and what she said a little bit. I was planning on taking 2 courses. And when I saw that it was this one, it's not my strongest point. So I decided let's just focus on this one. So I hear you, Mel. I'm with you. So we'll do it together. So that was really it.
oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Is it Donis? Donis, you there? Okay. Ishmael, are you there? Okay. All right. So I just want to make sure I didn't leave anybody else. Did I leave anybody else out? Okay, good. We're doing great. So we had 8 minutes left. So this is phenomenal. So ladies and gentlemen, we're done. All right. Make sure, just double check. Somebody just sent a message that I want to make sure. Can somebody read that message for me at the bottom? It's not allowing me to scroll.
He doesn't have a speaker.
Donis,
Yeah. Donis doesn't have a speaker or a camera.
Oh, okay, okay. Thanks, Donis. Cool. So let's do this. So we're done for the night. We actually finished early. That's phenomenal. And I will honor my word. Make sure that please, before you leave me, you have all your emails there so I can send you the information. And then God willing, we're going to connect back on Tuesday. And I'll put that in the announcement. Same time, same link. If you can't make it on Tuesday, I completely understand, but I will make the video recording available, right? And you can kind of self-teach yourself through the videos also. But I want to leave with a disclaimer that my dean shivers every time I say this. It's very difficult to teach economics or finance if it's not your strength on email. It's difficult because I'm passionate about my work and I want you to understand. I could be a prick and say, please go to page number 2 in your book. Like, y'all, dude, I don't need you to tell me page number 2, explain it. That's why I'm paying you. So make every effort for me to do this for you. It's difficult to explain over the phone these concepts because I want you to understand. You can pretend like, oh yeah, I get it. You know, you don't, right? You don't. No, let's not lie to each other. So this avenue, we all can feed off each other's energies, to borrow your words. It's very helpful. If that doesn't work for you, at least use the video, right? Take the video, go through it back and forth, rewind it, pause it. When you don't understand, that's a different story. Then I can say, okay, let me try to explain, but go back to that video on Rail 17 minutes and 22 seconds, that one, stop there. That's what I meant by that. That's the best way I've been teaching this course, okay? Okay, so thank you so much, everyone. It was a delight meeting everyone, and we'll connect soon again, okay? Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night, everyone. Bye.